Hi, I'm Tabor Aiken, firefighter for the Lakeville Fire Department. Welcome to another edition of On Call. The goal of this program is to educate and inform citizens of Lakeville about how Lakeville's all-volunteer fire department trains and responds to emergencies. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this edition of On Call. We'll meet the new host of On Call, Chris Lewis. Chris and I will share some information about Lakeville's new SCBA packs and the training that firefighters are undergoing with these packs. In Chief's Corner, Fire Chief Mike Meyer will introduce Lakeville's newest piece of fire apparatus, a water tender. In Did You Know, we'll give you some information about the recruiting process that's underway for new firefighters. On Ask Tabor, I'll answer a question about smoking and apartment complexes. We've got a new segment to introduce to you, and Scratch has another exciting new adventure for you. I'm here at Lakeville Fire Station number 1, and I'm joined by Chris Lewis, firefighter from Station 3. And in addition to being a firefighter from Station 3, Chris is also the new host of On Call. So Chris, welcome to On Call.
Thank you, Tabor.
We're going to start off by talking a little bit about you, and then we're going to talk about SCBA packs. So
all right.
Let's talk a little bit about Chris Lewis first. You should give us, the 30-second spiel on your background.
Okay. Well, let's see. I've been on Lakeville Fire since 2008. I grew up in Lakeville. I graduated from Lakeville High School, and I just always wanted to be a firefighter.
Terrific. Yep. Now you get to be a firefighter and a TV host.
Yeah.
Exciting.
More than I bargained for.
So, there's a lot of activity happening around us here, Chris. We've got a training exercise going on and doing some work with the new SCBA packs that the fire department purchased.
That is correct.
I'm going to throw the first question to you, which is, what is SCBA?
SCBA is self-contained breathing apparatus. And what that is it's a whole system that we wear on our bodies, including a pack and a mask, and it protects us from breathing any toxic fumes or anything that might do harm to our bodies.
Okay.
Yep.
And when would be an example of a time when you would wear SCBA packs?
We would wear SCBA packs if we were in a structure fire, a car fire, if we were in a carbon monoxide alarm, if we were in a natural gas leak. Anytime there's some kind of air that we don't want to breathe, we'll put on the pack and it'll contain. Tabor, can you tell us why we might need new SCBA packs?
Sure, Chris. The packs are purchased for a couple of different reasons. The primary reason being that the older packs are outdated and can no longer be maintained. But then also in looking at new packs, the technology is newer and frankly just better. There's some new life safety features and things like that that make it a better tool for us to have within the fire department. So it was the right time with the old packs being out of date and no longer able to be updated or be maintained anymore.
All right.
So Chris, I'm thinking let's take a look at some of the features with the new pack. And we happen to have our model over here, Ty Huber, Lieutenant from Station 4. And Ty's got a couple of different, he's got the pack on, so we could start with a couple of different features. I'll start with the mask, which very similar to our old mask. One of the unique features that this has is the heads-up display. It's difficult to see with the mask in Ty's hand, but when Ty has the mask on, he's going to see some lights over on the right-hand side that'll indicate how much area is left in his pack. And so and that'll keep updating as the air decreases over time. It'll also give him some flashing lights if there's a problem from his pass device. So Chris, how about if I pass it to you and you tell us a little bit about the pass device?
The pass device is what we have on firefighters. It shows how much air we have back in our bottle, the battery life that we have left in our pack. It also, what it does is it is an alarm. It contains an alarm. So if a firefighter were to remain motionless for any period of time, this would gradually get louder and louder for other firefighters to hear and be able to rescue. What's different from this pack for our other bottles is this is a smaller high pressure bottle which has more air but actually has a lower profile bottle. The pack itself contains lights for viewing, being able to see in dark enclosed areas, and it also includes several different areas on the pack themselves where we can connect from one bottle to another in case a firefighter is low on air. And then as you can see here, we have a gauge on the pack itself, which shows how much air we have left in our bottle, which should match up on the pass device that we wear up in front.
And if Ty turns back around again, we've got another feature up on his pack that's here. That's basically a computer chip that each firefighter wears, can tell that Ty's badge number is 212. And what this is going to do is do what's called marry with his pack. So there's a computer system that will read and see that Ty, or badge 212, is got his pack on, and it'll actually be able to, through the computer, be able to see how much air he's got left in his pack, where he is, how he's doing, if he's moving, if he's down, if he's injured, needs some help, if his pack's an alarm, be able to get some basic information on that. And then the computer system can also do some basic communication through the pack, like put it into alarm from a remote location. What else did we miss, Chris?
Not much. We missed the connection to the mask itself.
Yep.
If we wanted to show that. One of the differences between this mask and our old mask is that the nozzle, or the pack, the connection from the pack itself, you can see has little brackets here which can just hang on the mask there. And you can see Ty can walk around on scene without being on air, but have his hands free until he's ready to go on air, and then it's just a matter of clicking it in place. Now he is completely contained in his mask, not breathing any air from outside.
So overall, some new masks with some great features. So I think the next thing we'll do, Chris, is transition to some of the activity and the noise that's happening behind us and see some of the training exercises that firefighters are participating in to get refamiliarized with the new packs. So Chris, we're at Station 1, and we've got firefighters participating in the agility test that you and I did when we came on as rookies.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about why they're doing it today.
Well, what we're doing here is with any new gear or tool or equipment, we want to try and get used to how it works in the real world.
Okay.
And so what we're doing is we're going through the agility test that we give rookies to try and give, which is actually different scenarios that are meant to simulate different scenarios that we have while we're on a call, whether it's climbing ladders or pulling hoses or dragging hoses or connections or anything like that. So what we're doing with these air packs on is just getting used to the difference between those and our old packs. And this is figured the best way that we could do it.
Great. Yeah, we've got a lot of different activities. I noticed people in partners moving around together, hearing a lot of bells. What's the bell mean?
The bell means that you are running out of air, and when your bell goes off, that means you and the entire team that you've gone in with has to evacuate the scene.
Okay.
And to be replaced by new firefighters.
And this is a rotation process where there's 2 stations here for this particular training evening, 2 stations over in the old police department. We'll take a look at what they're doing over there.
Tabor, now we're over at the old Lakeville Police Department. What are we doing over here?
Chris, there's a couple different scenarios over here. It looks like there's 3 different scenarios. And so unlike what we saw over at Fire Station number 1, this is a little bit more of a practical approach. The firefighters' masks are covered with some sort of food storage wrap that's making it blurry and difficult to see through. And they're crawling through dark classrooms, and old office spaces. They've got some different things set up in here that are simulating what a firefighter might find in an unknown environment, where they're going in and trying to find a downed firefighter, which is one scenario, or just trying to do some reconnaissance to find out where the fire is and then put it out.
All right, so a little bit more of a difficult situation than we were before.
It looks like it. I think you and I are both going to find out how difficult once we stop talking here and pack up the rest of our gear and get to climb through here.
Again, we're over here at the Lakeville Police Department, learning and training with our new packs, in more of a real world situation, just to get used to them and see what we can and cannot do.
Well, Chris, I think we got a good visual on how the training's going with the new packs. Hopefully we gave the viewers some information about why new packs are in service in Lakeville, and I hope you're ready to start hosting the show.
Yeah, it was a great first segment. I'm looking forward to taking over where you left off.
Well, not completely taken over, because I still have to come back and do Ask Tabor. You can't get rid of me that quickly, but yeah, it went well.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Bill Face here for No Fear CPR. If you see someone collapse, check for responsiveness, movement, or breathing. No pulse means sudden cardiac arrest. If someone has any of these symptoms, you must call 911, send someone to find an AED, start chest compressions immediately, hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of your favorite 70s disco tune. Be a part of No Fear CPR and help stop the #1 killer in America. I'm Bill Face.
Did you know the Lakeville Fire Department is in the process of hiring 15 new paid on-call firefighters? Applicants have already attended an informational meeting, and most of them have taken the written test that is required for all new recruits. The next step will involve an agility test to see if they are in physical condition to become a firefighter. Next, they will be interviewed. A background check and medical assessment will be performed, and then appointment letters will be sent out to 15 individuals inviting them to begin their training as a Lakeville firefighter. These probationary firefighters then embark on a 2-year program that includes over 250 hours of classes, including firefighter and first responder training. While this new firefighter hiring process is already underway, you can still be placed on a waiting list for the next class of new recruits. Details about becoming a Lakeville firefighter are available at the city's website.
Welcome to Chief's Corner. I'm Fire Chief Mike Meyer, and I'm here with Station 1 Captain Scott Bacos, and we're here to talk about our new tender that we purchased January of this year. Welcome, Scott.
Good morning.
So, give me a little history of why did we have to purchase a new tender?
We're in a truck replacement rotation. When trucks come up to a certain age, it's time to replace them to make sure that our equipment stays up to top notch, that it runs good and it's in good condition, so everything's always ready when we need it and never have as many issues, and it's just easier for us to replace trucks when we need it. The old tender was about 30 years old. Just was time to send it down the road. Hopefully we'll fit the good needs of another really small department, but for us, it was time for us to pick up a new truck that fits our needs better and is in better condition for us.
Okay. What's the main purpose of for the tender?
Main purpose that we have a tender for, we have 4 fire stations in Lakeville. Station 1 here, where the tender is located, covers the most southern half of the city. On the southern half of the city, we also have an agreement with Eureka Township that goes all the way down to the Rice County border, about 18 square miles, that we provide fire protection to them. Most of their area has no fire hydrants, so we have to bring our own water with us. So we have to have a tender truck here to be able to shuttle water to fire situations.
Excellent. How much water does the truck carry?
The truck that we purchased carries 3,000 gallons of water. Same as the old one did, so we figured it was a good number of water. They don't get a lot bigger than that. You can go smaller, it's important to make sure that we have a good enough water supply when we need it.
Scott, can you tell me a little bit about the process of how we look at or go out and buy a new tender?
Sure. Usually when we buy a new fire truck, same as the new tender, we basically put a committee together within the department of guys that are interested and familiar with what it takes to build a fire truck. We sit down, we start talking about what kind of options we'd like, different places that we have options of buying it from, and it takes a few months process to put everything together. After that, we put some specs together, sheets showing all the specs and the options and everything we would like on the fire truck. Then we send it off to different companies that would like to bid on building the fire truck for us, and then it goes into a bid awarding process from there. The company that was awarded the bid to build this truck was Midwest Fire Apparatus in Laverne, Minnesota, a local company in Minnesota. Works out good for us because if we have issues with the truck, they're obviously somewhat close, so we can take care of problems a little easier with them. Then back in late fall, after we completed everything, this one being not quite as complicated of a fire truck as most of them, it only took about 2.5 to 3 months to build the truck, so we were able to get a little quicker delivery on the vehicle versus a ladder truck that may take a year to build because there's so much more involved in it.
Should we take a tour of the new truck and see what's the difference between the old one versus the new one?
Sure, let's take a look at it. To show you some of the different things on this apparatus versus our previous apparatus that we felt were things that we needed to serve our purpose better that we never had in the past. Some things we upgraded to a larger fill intake on the back. It allows us to fill the truck faster because the quicker that we can get water back to the scene if we have a fire, the better it is for the fire, because we usually can't get water there fast enough if we don't have any hydrants in the area, and sometimes we have to go a long ways to find that water source. The other thing is we've got 3 different ways that we can dump water into the drop tanks that we put down to draw water out of, to pump the water onto the fire. We have the ability to drop water out of the rear, and we have the ability to drop water out of either side, either the left or right side of the truck. That gives us more versatility, because if we don't have a really good place to put that drop tank down on the ground, we may not have the perfect way to back in to dump water into that drop tank, so we have to have the versatility of being able to drop from different angles. Other things we did is we put dual drop tanks on the truck. There's one on this side, one on the opposite side. They both hold 3,000 gallons of water. We set them up right beside each other, and then we use the pumper trucks to draft the water out of those pools as all the tanker trucks drop water into those pools. The nice thing about having two is we can drop a full load into each one of them, or if we need to get closer to the scene, we can actually have the pumper truck drafting out of one while the tender trucks drop their water loads into the other tank, and then we can actually transfer water from one to the other with another device that we have. This is a modernized fire truck. It's built on a commercial chassis. It saves money with us by just buying a commercial chassis and adding the rear components to the truck versus building a custom fire truck, which in certain apparatus we need to build it that way to make it the way we need it to be. We did go with a little bit smaller fire pump on this truck. It was a way for us to save money on this truck because of not the need to have a bigger pump on this fire truck. Just to go with the smaller pump, reduce the cost quite a bit, and it still fulfills the needs that we need as far as being able to pump and transfer water. Another unique feature with this truck is we are able to pump with this truck, and we can still drive and pump. Most of our fire trucks, you can't drive, move, and pump water at the same time. The one thing we did add to this fire truck, we put a remote control fire monitor on the front. This remote control fire monitor allows us to drive down the road if we have a grass fire, ditch fire, mulch pile fires, anything that is a related like vegetation fire or something, then we wouldn't even have to get out of the truck, which saves on firefighter safety with being on the interstate. If we have a grass fire or ditch fire, that we wouldn't even have to get out of the truck to put a fire out, which makes it safer for the firefighters in that way.
All right, Scott, thank you very much for showing us that, and I thank you and the committee for all the time and efforts that you guys put into putting this truck together.
It was our pleasure. We had a good time.
Was that my exit? There you are, ma'am, all done.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thanks again.
Everyday emergency workers, as well as maintenance crews, construction crews, and first drivers work on busy roadways. And every day they're at risk of being killed.
On multi-lane highways, please move over one lane. Our lives depend on you.
We're introducing a new segment here on On Call, highlighting recent news within Lakeville Fire Department. To start off with, Jim Qualley has retired after 20 years with Lakeville Fire. Jim was hired by Lakeville Fire in 1987 and was the first rookie class to open Station 3. He remained a firefighter the entire career, and he served on the relief board at the end of his career. Jim was recently recognized at a Lakeville City Council meeting where he was honored for his 20 years of service. He was also given a shadow box in recognition of his career. Lakeville Fire Department recently accepted 2 automatic external defibrillators from the Shakopee, Midwacaton, Sioux community. The AEDs were donated through Midwacaton's LIFE program administered by their emergency services. An AED is used to shock a person's heart when they are suffering a cardiac arrest. These donated AEDs will be placed in the fire chief's vehicles, which are often the first to arrive at an emergency scene. Chief Mike Meyer presented the Lakeville Fire Department's annual report to the Lakeville City Council. The annual report included highlights and information about the department for 2010. If you would like to view this annual report, you can go to the city's website. Finally, the fire department will be hosting a blood drive, which should be scheduled at the beginning of May. Information will be available on the city and the department's website.
And now it's time for you, the viewer, to ask a question, where you have the chance to win a t-shirt in another exciting edition of Ask Tabor.
I've got 3 questions on Ask Tabor today. The first question is from Rita in Lakeville, and Rita's question is about how serious it is to be smoking in an attached garage unit in an apartment complex. Well, Rita, a couple of different things. One, from a health perspective, we of course think that smoking's not the best choice, not very healthy. From a safety perspective, we know that Improperly extinguished smoking materials are a leading cause of fires. So from a firefighter perspective, we're going to say smoking anywhere is not a good choice. As far as a law enforcement perspective, that's going to be entirely up to the property management folks at your complex as to where people smoke and they don't smoke. If someone would choose to smoke, which of course we wouldn't recommend, we would strongly encourage that person to smoke outside and make sure that the smoking materials are completely extinguished. My next question is from Maddie, and Maddie's question is, when is it too dangerous for a firefighter to go into a fire? Well, Maddie, this is a great question, and it's something we're always considering when we're working on a structure fire. There's going to be many factors that are taken into account, including factors like the fire load. So how hot is the fire? How big is the fire? Where is the fire? We're going to take the structural integrity of the building into account. So that, say we're on a level that's got a fire underneath it, we want to make sure that we're not going to collapse and fall into the fire. We would call an operation that we go into a fire an offensive operation. We're going to go in, we're going to go right after the fire and move pretty quickly to put it out. And then, of course, the opposite would be defensive. So if we, for example, were at a structure where the fire was simply too large for us to be able to go in, we would attack it from the outside and possibly try to move in after the fire had died down a little bit and was a little bit safer. So it's an ongoing issue. It's something we're always evaluating. The chief officers, who are usually first on the scene, are evaluating that and then giving firefighters who are arriving after them information and giving them some direction about how they want them to attack the fire. That was a great question, Maddie. And you had a second question, which is also good. And that question is, why does it seem like there are more house fires in the winter? Well, I wasn't actually able to prove whether there are more house fires or not, Maddie, but heating is the second leading cause of fires right after kitchen fires. So if you think about Minnesota in the winter at least, we're all using heaters, furnaces, etc. to keep our homes warm more than we are in the summer. And so it's going to be more likely that we would have fires as a result of that in the winter. Those are some great questions from Rita and Maddie. Thank you both for sending them in. If you've got a question for Ask Tabor, send it in to the fire department or use the email address on your screen and send it to us. Thanks.
Oh, it's awful, it's hideous, it's terrible. Oh, everyone, it's me, Scratch the Fire Dog, because I like to scratch out the fires. Oh, it's a terrible, hideous news. They've just told me I've been working here, doing my job here at the fire station, which is I get to stretch the hoses, and someone just told me that Tabor is leaving the On-Call show. Oh, it's a terrible, oh my good buddy, I don't know what I'm going to do without him. I just can't. What's that? You've got something to take my mind off of Tabor leaving the show? What possibly could it be? You tell me, what is it? There's a new video game on the fire department website? Show me where it is, let's play! Hey, we're back here at the Channel 16, the control room, and here is the computer we're going to use to find out all about this exciting game. And it's going to help me forget about, what's his name? Anyway, hey, let's take a look at the website here, folks. Well, first thing we want to do is go to www.lakevillemn.gov. Then we want to go to City Departments, and under City Departments, we want to click on the Fire Department link. Oh, pretty cool. Once we get to the Fire Department page, we say, hey, look it's Take the Fire Marshal Challenge through online game. So we're gonna do that, here we go. Hey, look at that, it's Take the Fire Marshal Challenge. Oh, I love that, the groovy music. Well, let's click next. Oh, hey, look at that. You can choose a character. Hey, you know, it'd be really cool if they happen to have a dog here, but wait a minute. I'm going to go up here to customize. Hey, there's an animal there. Hey, there I am, a Scratch. Hey, that's great. Ah, that's wonderful. All right, we're going to save that one. Okay, so I'm the dog. Okay, now that I've chosen my character, I'm going to hit the next. And then it asks you to type in your name, and my name is
scratch the fire. Oops, the fire cat. Ha! No, not the cat. That's a dude dog. And then now we'll hit the next, and we should go right to the game. Hey, we're gonna talk about smoke alarms, general fire safety, and the cooking. Hey, it's just like a Jeopardy. Oh, scratch the fire dog. Select questions in any order. Well, Alex, I'd like to take smoke alarms for 300. Where must you have some alarms in your home? One on each level of the home, one in every bedroom, close to the kitchen, or near exits. Hey, I think it's a B. Hey, look at that, I got it right. Oh, very cool. Then it shows you some good tips and hints on where you should put fire alarms. Hey, I'd like to do another question. How about, Alex, I'd like general fire safety for 200. And then the question is, where should you have carbon monoxide alarms in your home? A, in the attic, B, within 10 feet of the laundry room, C, within 10 feet of all sleeping areas, or D, in the garage. Hey, I'm a fire dog, so I'm gonna guess C. And I'm correct again. Hey, this is a great game, everybody. Hey, I'm doing so well, but hey, don't take my word for it. You kids out there can go to www.lakevillemn.gov and play this same game, and I bet you'll do great at it. So remember, lakevillemn.gov under the fire department section. Oh, this is great. It's a great game, and you know something? I've totally forgotten about what's his name. But I'm so excited. I get to work with Chris Lewis, the new host of On Call. So until next time, everyone, this is a Scratch the Fire Dog, because I like to scratch out the fires. Hey, Alex, I would like to take cooking for 200, please.
Well, that's it for today's show. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas for the show, please use the information on your screen. Thank you for joining us, and all fire units are clear.
No cookies till Mommy gets back.
I know.
More than 300 fires are set by children each year. Open your eyes to dangers in your home. Paid for by the Minnesota Fair Plan.